Welcome to Quantum Finance. My name is Parker. I'm the head trader here, but I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So in today's video, we'll take a look at the economic data, we'll go over some news, and then we'll do our market recap and market analysis. So starting here on the economic calendar, today we did get JOLTS job openings come in at 10.1 million with 9.7 million expected. And tomorrow, Thursday, June 1st, we do get non-farm employment change for May. We also get initial jobless claims, ISM manufacturing PMI, and crude oil inventories. So now we can look at some news here. So this is a chart from Redpin that reporting a colossal 49% crash in investor purchases in the first quarter of 2023, which is the biggest annual decline on record here. And here we have the US 1-year credit default swaps, as you can see, starting to decline here pretty quickly after that big parabolic spike we got after the banking crisis. And here we have the average of real GDP and GDI growth as calculated here by the Bureau of Economic Analysis. Looking pretty weak here with the year-over-year rate easing to just 0.3% in the first quarter of 2023. And here we have a chart showing the unemployment rate and the 10-year versus 2-year yield curve. As you can see, every time there is a spike in the yield curve, there's typically a rise in unemployment. And as you can see, we might be starting to form some type of bottom here in the yield curve. We also have the United States government debt is projected to reach 50 trillion by 2033, which is from the Congressional Budget Office. And here we have the world cumulative net gold ETF demand versus the central bank demand. As you can see, like during COVID, the ETF demand was a lot higher, but once the war started with Russia and Ukraine, as you can see, the central banks are continuously just stockpiling gold at an insane rate. And here we have Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, has laid off 20% of its employees. So now we can do our market recap here, starting in the debt market with the US 10-year yield continuing its pullback here after that strong move to the upside, pulling into this midline here on the daily chart and these previous highs here from April 19th and March 22nd. As you can see, pulling down here into that midline on the monthly chart or the weekly chart as well. Turning to the dollar, as you can see, green day here in the dollar, strong wick to the upside, breaking through yesterday's high, still just consolidating up here at the upper end of this daily range. Doji candle here currently on the weekly chart. Turning to the stock market, as you can see, red day today in the stock market, not very volatile. Did have a strong wick onto these highs from Thursday, May 25th. Still red here on the week. Turning to cryptocurrencies, we have Bitcoin getting a big red day today after getting rejected off that upper extreme and breaking down through this midline. Looking at XRP, we do have a red day here in XRP after that strong move we got over the weekend. As you can see, with a pretty big wick to the downside here, but still just, sitting up here at these highs, right here below this upper extreme on the weekly chart. Turning to commodities, we have oil, another big red day here in oil, continuing its sell-off here, pushing down into this lower extreme. As you can see, getting really close to this lower extreme on the monthly chart as well. Looking like a pretty bearish monthly close is coming for oil. Looking at gold, we do have a green day here in gold with a wick off that midline. Looking like it's trying to find a short-term bottom here in gold. If you look here on the monthly chart, as you can see, wicking off these previous open and closes here from January and February. Turning to silver, we do have a nice green day here in silver, breaking through these highs from Monday. Pretty much, just getting that wick off that midline here on the monthly chart, making its way up here towards that midline on the daily chart as well. Now we can do our market analysis. We'll start here on the volume of the S&P 500. As you can see, massive volume day today. Largest volume day we've got, since back here in March. Pretty wild to have this much volume with the such a small candle. We have been pretty volatile the past 2 weeks. But yeah, still just kind of sitting up here at the upper end of this daily range. Now we can look at the 3-minute chart. So as you can see, we did get a large gap down this morning. Getting a push up into yesterday's lows, pretty much getting rejected at yesterday's lows before getting a solid sell-off here. And then going sideways for a couple hours before getting back above VWAP, going in for another retest of yesterday's lows before getting rejected back down to VWAP. Then getting a bounce up here for a retest of the prior highs of the day, and then pulling back at the close to close right there above VWAP. We can zoom out a little bit here. Looking at the 15-minute chart, as you can see, we did break down below that significant trend line here with a squeeze for a gap down, as you can see, pushing up into that level, getting rejected here, getting a sell-off, pulling into these previous highs back here from last Thursday, finding support at that level before getting a recovery up to this upper extreme on the 15-minute chart. And we did get that MACD cross to the upside at about 1 o'clock, which did help with this strength and recovery to the upside. Looking at the 2-hour chart over here, as you can see, we did run into this upper line here, this upper trend line here in momentum, and we are pulling back. Now we can look at the VIX and the NASDAQ. Looking at the VIX here, as you can see on momentum, still continuing its trend reversal to the upside, getting really close to that zero line here. But as you can see, getting a strong push off the open and, pretty much just closing right there at the middle of the daily price range. Looking at the NASDAQ here, we can draw a trend line from these previous two highs here, as you can see, approaching that trend line and continuing its pullback here in momentum. As you can see, approaching a pretty significant level here on momentum. Now we can talk about some trades. We can go to our 1-minute chart. Pull up our drawings. Let me get this right. So here off the open, as you can see, we did get that gap down. And we did get our push up to yesterday's lows before getting rejected. As you can see here, we did have a head and shoulders pattern, which is a bearish reversal pattern with our left shoulder, our head, and then our right shoulder with our neckline breakdown retest with a nice squeeze with downward momentum. So this would have been a nice opportunity here for a short. And as you can see, this was a monster move. Would have been a really nice trade. Getting short on this head and shoulders breakdown. And then we did have like a super long sideways consolidation. I didn't really like this first squeeze in here. There wasn't really any good patterns, especially being this bearish. We did have downward momentum on the 5-minute. As you can see, this maybe like kind of a cup and handle pattern here with your cup, then your handle, and then getting a slight breakout here. But as you can see, not a very significant move. And then we did get a large 5-minute squeeze starting about right in here. And as you can see, we did have a falling wedge pattern, which is a bullish reversal pattern. Could have been a decent opportunity for a long, just kind of for a retest of these previous highs. Then as you can see, we did form a bull pennant pattern here, but as you can see, we did get a false breakout at about 12:30, came back down for another retest of that trend line before getting its breakout for a test of VWAP. So, if you had a good stop here, below this level, could have been a decent opportunity for a long up to VWAP. Then here we did get another squeeze at about 1:30, as you can see with an inverse head and shoulders, which is a bullish continuation pattern. Or a bullish reverse pattern, as you can see with your left shoulder, your head, and then your right shoulder. And then our neckline as you getting the breakout and then retest of the neckline. So this would have been a nice opportunity for a long, just to come in for a retest of the open. Then as you can see here, we did get a rising wedge pattern with a large squeeze with downward momentum, which is a bearish reversal pattern. As you can see, it did have a false breakout as well off the open, coming down, breaking down to the open, finding it as support before getting back in the pattern, and then finally breaking down through it, holding it as resistance, and then getting a nice move down to VWAP. So this would have also been a nice opportunity for a short just to fade down towards this VWAP area. And then you can see we did have a bear pennant here, which is a bearish continuation pattern, but as you can see, we did get a squeeze, and we had upward momentum here. So this is typically a bearish pattern, but we did get a breakout to the upside. Could have been a nice opportunity for a retest, of the open or up here towards yesterday's lows. So yeah, not a crazy day when it comes to price action, but a lot of volume coming in today. Honestly surprised to see this, after, yesterday I said usually short weeks have less volume. But we did get a massive volume day today. Like I said, largest volume we have gotten since the end of March. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens the rest of the week. But yeah, that'll do it for the video. Appreciate y'all watching, and I will talk to y'all later.